In today's episode, we are making the pleated circle shorts. Oh my, I'm so excited and you're most welcome, my fashionista. This is Yvonne and this channel is Yvonne Winifred. So these shorts can be made in any fabric, in any length. You can pleat them or even, you don't add the pleats, but they are fine shorts. I'm so delighted, so let us start the video. Don't forget to subscribe. So for this tutorial, I have this Ankara, the legendary Ankara fabric. It is blue and white, folded into two, and it is a square. It is 30 inches by 30 inches. So we are cutting two front pieces. So now to start off, I'm going to work with a waist measurement of 30 inches. So I'm dividing the 30 inches by 3.14. That is a constant we use to get half circle skirts. And I get 9.5 inches. And it's what I'm going to be marking all around here to get my starting point. So from the apex on top here, I'm marking 9.5 like this. 9.5. So usually when we are making a skirt, that will just give me the waistline of the skirt, but when it comes to these shorts, it's kind of the shoulder line. Anyway, it is the waistline plus crotch. You will see as we go on. So now I've marked this line where I'll be putting my waist measurement and the other stuff, as you see. So guys, as you know, when it comes to a trouser, I'm working with hip measurement of 40 inches and I'm dividing it by 4 to get 10, and I again divide that 10 by 4 to get the crotch is allowance. So I get about 2.5 and I decide to add 0.5 to that 2.5 to get 3 inches, and it's that 3 inches that I'm going to use to mark on this line at the start of this line as the crotch is. So I'm marking 3 inches like this, and as we know, we have to add a waistband on top there. So I'm placing my tape measure, putting in mind that I'll be adding a waistband plus allowance. I have to consider that. So I continue my line to go to get my full length. For now, let me first mark out the entire full length of this skirt short. So all together plus the allowances, I'm working with about 22 inches. But if you want it shorter, just do shorter, because I realized the outcome of these shorts depends on the fabric you're using and the length. So now again, putting my tape measure like this, hip measurement, dividing it by 4, I get 10 plus 1 inch. Then I mark my crotch line like that, and then I mark the 3 inches I marked before, connect a line which is the center front now, and then I carve out my crotch, curve like that. So now I've determined the crotch. So since the inner thigh is never straight, guys, we all know, so I'm just going to take off about 2.5 inches like this. You can even do 2 and connect it into the crotch like that. So now I think here at the top, I come back and from the center front I mark out the waist measurement, that is 30 inches, dividing it by 4, I get 7.5 plus 2 inches for my pleat. The pleat will be half inch in width, and after the pleat allowance I add 1 inch as the sewing allowance, and then I can connect it into the hemline. But guys, as you see, this thing is really big, but if you want to use this entire thing, you can use it the entire width. But if you don't want, you can reduce it to any size that you feel like. So that's what I'm determining here. I want it a little bit, not too big. So I mark here, but I just decided to increase it just because I will be pleating it. So now I decide to do like this, just as you see. So that is what I am taking as my front marking. So I just cut out just as you see. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's doable. So now this is my two front pieces. Let me just label them so that I don't confuse them with the back pieces. So I'm just going to use one of these front pieces to cut out my back. And here we are, another piece of fabric folded into two. And I have my front on top here that I'll be using to cut my back piece. A back is a little bit, increased in, especially in width. So at the crotch line here, I'm increasing the crotch line for the back by 1 inch, and from that 1 inch I go down by half an inch. So from that half an inch I'll be connecting up into the waistline. So I also increase around the inner thigh by 1 inch, then I connect a line like that. So coming here on top at the waistline, I'm increasing the back waistline or center back by 1.5 inches, then carve out a new crotch like that. Going into the other 1 inch, we increase the crotch line. So from this 1.5 inches on top here as the center back, I connect it into the waistline just as you see. And after there, I get my tape measure. I have to make sure it is the exact waist measurement for the back that I want to use. And I mark it. I even realized that I had excess since I won't be pleating the back piece. So that is it for the back. And also now I can just cut it out. So I believe you can do this as a full circle, full circle shorts, or even half circle shorts. But when you do it as a half circle, it is easier. So now these are my pieces, front two, and even for the back I have two. Remember, we have to label them. Now moving on, these are my pieces. Now I'm just going to show you how to sew these pieces. Remember, we have to have our pieces right sides facing each other. So for the front, I'll sew by half an inch, hold that crotch, and then determine its midpoint, the midpoint of that entire waistline, notch it so that is where I will be pleating. So for the back, I have to take off the zipper allowance and then pleat, sew up the rest of the crotch. So here we are so far at the sewing machine. I've pleated the front, joined its center front, and so far so good. So as you see, that's what I've done so far. And then for the back, remember, this is the back. I have this invisible zipper that I'll be using for the back, and before that zipper I have to determine how much I will be sewing up. So remember, my zipper will be starting from the waistband that I'll be adding. So I put the tape measure, putting in mind that I'll be adding a waistband. So after determining around at 7 inches, I will just join up the crotch, and so this is what I have now. As I've told you, the inner thigh is not connected yet. So now I just want to bring on my back. It is pinned down at a zipper allowance. Right sides facing each other. I'm just going to join the sides for both the front and back by 1/2 inch, and the other side also 1/2 inch. So after joining it, I'll just cut out my entire waistband for this waistline, and then I'll also add a zipper. So after the waistband, this is what I have. I used 2 inches for the waistband, that is on fold. You can even add some stiff, and the zipper is also already attached, as you see. So I used 1/2 inch to join the waistband to the main short. So now guys, I just have to close up the inner thigh, and then after that I'll just double fold the hemline like that, and the skirt will be done, and I will have this, as you see. So these are the finished pair of shorts, and as I told you guys, the outcome depends on how which fabric you use. It depends on how long the shorts are, the pleats are done. If you want, you can add pockets on the sides. That is the waistband, and I love the outcome. So this is the back. So at the back, I think as you see, I didn't pleat it, but if you want, you can add some pleats on the sides like there and there, but I didn't pleat it for this. And at times it can even look like a skirt, but it isn't. So it is a half circle pair of shorts, as you see. And I know you can also try them out and tag me on Instagram at Yvonne Winifred UG, and I'll be seeing you soon. I love you always. Don't forget to subscribe.